Despite possessing a Ph.D. in mathematics, I can say with great confidence that counting is hard. Such a statement might seem really stupid, but hear me out. When I say counting is hard, I do not mean the process of assigning a number to a collection of things is hard, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 stuff. This is kind of hard, like when a baseball umpire awards a walk on 3 balls instead of 4. Check out this video by John Boyes about stuff like that. But watching a math channel, you might think I'm referring to the arrangement of objects to be counted in such a way that a count is simple is hard. Solving this second problem constitutes a field of math called enumerative combinatorics, where the objects that need to be counted could be sets, graphs, partitions, solutions to finite problems, orders, vectors, groups, and so many more. The problem of counting is so ubiquitous that it reaches its tentacles in almost every field of math to at least a small degree. If someone can find a field of math that does not rely on combinatorics, at least in a small part, please comment about it, because I am genuinely at a loss to think of one. But this video is more about the process of deciding which things count when we count, which is very hard, but more so in coming to the right definition. For example, how many holes do your pants have? This is a highly contested debate in online forums, but according to homology, the answer is 2, since it takes at least 2 seams to stitch a piece of cloth together to make it pant-shaped. Skirts and kilts have 1 hole for a similar reason. 1 stitch, 1 seam, 1 hole. Wrong people like to say pants have 3 holes because your torso comes out of 1 hole and your feet come out of the other 2. Others still like to say more by counting their pockets as holes. Can you see what a mess we get into if you pick a bad definition? An ambiguous definition drives debates like this, and today I wish to start another. This debate belongs to the world of sports, where everything is counted and everything counts. The top levels of almost every sport these days is driven by stores of data to get an edge in order to win. Beyond mere winning are other awards, recognition from fans, writers, the league, whoever, using these numbers to decide who gets an award. The biggest award one can achieve in a sport is entrance to that sport's Hall of Fame, the culmination of a career. One big criterion for Hall of Fame worthiness is the question, how long did you play? For example, if you aren't playing pro baseball or pro hockey for at least a decade, you have almost no chance. The shortest Hall of Fame careers in the other sports were usually from players who were leading players for the few seasons that they did play, such as Doak Walker, a 5-time NFL Pro Bowler in the 6 seasons that he played, who quit to pursue business opportunities. Or Maurice Stokes, who was a 3-for-3 NBA All-Star before his career was cut short due to a life-altering injury. These sports have a couple of stats to measure career length: games played and games started, and starts are what I want to talk about. In hockey and basketball, starts are simple. Are you playing when the game starts? Baseball has 2 stats, starting pitchers and the starting lineup. Very similar idea. Football, on the other hand, today lists the starting offense and defense for those players on the field for the first plays of offense and defense for each team. But this is a dumb stat, and many football fans already object to it in its normal use. Sometimes, the first play will require certain combinations of players that might not be the default, like getting an extra tight end to block on a rushing attempt, or an extra defensive back on the field because the offense has gone pass-heavy. These situations can leave star players on the sideline, who might otherwise play the entire game. But I have found something even dumber than that. Meet Deion Sanders, NFL Hall of Famer and an all-time great athlete, playing professional baseball and football at the same time for several years. On the football field, he is most known for his play at defensive back, but he also spent time as a returner on special teams, and key for us, as a wide receiver on offense. He had been used sparingly as a receiver for most of his career, but then came 1996. Cowboys star receiver Michael Irvin had been suspended for 5 games for possession charges. During those 5 games, Deion would start in his place, and would have 3 more receiver starts after Irvin's return. All of this data can be found on Pro Football Reference, but I disagree with their claim that he only started 15 out of the 16 games he played in that year, after losing a defensive start to Alundis Bryce, who only started 2 games in his entire 2-year career. If offensive and defensive starts were counted separately, he would have 15 defensive starts and 8 offensive starts, for a total of 23 starts in a 16-game season. And I think this is how it should be. And if someone at Pro Football Reference or any sports database sees this, please consider fixing this. To understand this debate, let's look at the past, the present, and the future. In the deep past of football, it was standard for players to play on both sides of the ball, only moving away from that tendency in the mid-20th century. These guys often get overlooked compared to modern players, and I think doubling their start counts for playing both sides of the ball would give these guys their flowers, at least as much when considering that start data was spotty well into the 60s. Or if you wanted to be more consistent, you could only count starts during the Super Bowl era, which is a pretty common cutoff point for historians anyway. In the present, we can look to Shohei Ohtani, who was the first baseball player to both pitch and bat at a high level for a long time. Pro Baseball Reference, part of the same organization as those who maintain Pro Football Reference, keep track of his pitching and hitting careers as almost separate people with no problem. If Pro Baseball Reference can do that, I think Pro Football Reference should be able to do something like I'm proposing without too much difficulty. Obviously, I understand that no coding change is ever going to be trivial, but we'll get close. And finally, we look to the future. Despite Deion probably being the last time a player has started on both sides of the ball in '96, he isn't the only person to play both sides of the ball since. Julian Edelman was receiver turned fourth-string defensive back during the 2011 season, and Patrick Ricard was a fullback who also played defensive lineman as late as 2019. This is all still in the past, but the NFL is about to see the entrance of one Travis Hunter to the league this year after winning the Heisman Trophy as an elite corner and a very good wide receiver. Like Deion, he is primarily projected to play defensive backs, with some spots at receiver. Playing both ways full-time would not be good for his health, but sometimes things happen, especially to teams at the top of the draft. With a little bad luck for that team, Travis Hunter could take the record for most starts in a season, especially with the recent expansion to a 17-game regular season. If I were a sportsbook, I would probably set up an over-under bet at 17.5 starts, but that would require an overnight change in how people count starts. And counting is hard, but I think it counts for something. If you like this video, then like this video. Thank you for watching.